Battlefield, 1942 to 2002. Let's rewind to 2002. The World War II shooter genre was absolutely saturated, but DICE said, "Hold my medkit." Battlefield 1942 didn't just let you play as a soldier, it let you be the war. Want to fly a B-17 bomber? Go ahead. Fancy driving a Sherman tank through the streets of Berlin? Done. The game had no traditional single-player campaign. Instead, it offered multiplayer conquest battles with AI bots. Maps like El Alamein and Omaha Beach became legendary. This introduced the world to the Battlefield formula: massive 64-player battles, vehicular warfare, and that sweet ticket system. Battlefield Vietnam, 2004. 2 years later, DICE took us to the rice paddies with Battlefield Vietnam. They added helicopters, and learning to fly a Huey while Fortunate Son blasted through the in-game radio was pure gaming perfection. The game introduced the ability to pick up enemy kits and play custom music from your PC and vehicles. No dedicated campaign here either, but the Historical Battles mode let you play through famous engagements like the Siege of Khe Sanh and the Fall of Saigon. Battlefield 2, 2005. Then came Battlefield 2, and this is where things got serious. Moving to a modern setting, BF2 introduced Commander Mode, where one player could provide aerial recon, supply drops, and artillery strikes. The class system got refined into the iconic Assault, Medic, Support, Engineer, Anti-Tank, Sniper, and Spec Ops roles. The progression system with unlockable weapons was revolutionary. Maps like Strike at Karkand became instant classics. This game basically wrote the blueprint for every modern military shooter that followed. Battlefield 2142, 2006. DICE got ambitious in 2006, launching us into the year 2142 for a full-on sci-fi war during a new ice age. Titan mode was absolutely insane. Massive flying fortresses that teams had to infiltrate and destroy from the inside, while simultaneously fighting ground battles below. We got mechs, hover tanks, and drop pods. Again, no story campaign, but the Titan assault scenarios were so engaging, you didn't miss it. Battlefield, Bad Company, 2008. Here's where everything changed. Bad Company gave us what fans had been waiting for: an actual single-player campaign with characters we cared about. Preston Marlowe, Haggard, Sweetwater, and Sarge were a squad of misfits, and their banter made the campaign genuinely entertaining. Set during a fictional war in Eastern Europe, the story followed this ragtag group chasing stolen gold while accidentally becoming heroes. The destructible environments powered by the new Frostbite engine were game-changing. You could blow holes through walls, collapse buildings, and create your own paths. Battlefield, Bad Company 2, 2010. Bad Company 2 remains one of the most beloved entries in the franchise. The campaign picked up with B Company trying to stop a Russian ultranationalist plot involving a secret weapon from World War II. The story took you from snowy mountains to South American jungles with incredible set pieces. The multiplayer was absolutely legendary. Rush mode became the star of the show. The destruction was cranked up to 11. Maps like Arica Harbor and Valparaiso are still remembered fondly. Many consider this the peak of the franchise. Battlefield 3, 2011. Battlefield 3 was DICE throwing down the gauntlet at Call of Duty. The Frostbite 2 engine delivered jaw-dropping graphics, and the scale returned to 64 players on PC. The single-player campaign followed Sergeant Henry Blackburn across 9 hours of globe-trotting military action, from Tehran to Paris, as he tried to prevent a nuclear attack. That jet fighter mission was incredible. Multiplayer brought back the class system, added incredible vehicle gameplay, and gave us maps like Operation Metro and Caspian Border. The sound design set a new standard for the industry. Battlefield 4, 2013. BF4's launch was a disaster with crashes and netcode issues, but DICE stuck with it, patching it for over a year, and the result became one of the best Battlefield games ever made. The campaign followed Sergeant Daniel Recker and Tombstone Squad during a war between China, Russia, and the US, offering multiple endings. The multiplayer was where it shined. Levolution introduced interactive map events like collapsing skyscrapers on the Siege of Shanghai. The game launched with 10 maps and grew to 33 through DLC. Many still play it today. Battlefield Hardline, 2015. Developed by Visceral Games, Hardline took a detour into cops versus criminals. The campaign followed Detective Nick Mendoza investigating corruption across 10 episodes with stealth mechanics and arrest options. The multiplayer introduced modes like Heist and Hotwire. Instead of tanks and jets, you got sports cars and helicopters. It didn't feel like Battlefield and struggled to maintain a player base. Battlefield 1, 2016. Then DICE went back to World War I. In an era of futuristic shooters, this was a massive risk that paid off spectacularly, moving over 25 million copies. The campaign was brilliant, telling 6 different war stories from perspectives across the Great War. You fought as a tank driver, an Italian soldier in the Alps, a pilot, an Australian messenger at Gallipoli, and a Bedouin warrior. Each story was emotionally powerful. The prologue mission, where you kept dying and switching soldiers, was haunting. Multiplayer brought 64-player warfare to trenches and deserts. Operations mode created multi-map battles. The behemoths that spawned for losing teams kept matches competitive. Battlefield 5, 2018. BFV had a troubled launch. The War Stories campaign included 4 episodes: a Norwegian resistance fighter, a British criminal in North Africa, a Senegalese tirailleur in France, and a German tank crew. Later updates added more. The multiplayer introduced great mechanics like fortifications and no 3D spotting. The live service model meant delayed content. The Pacific Theater update was phenomenal, and the gunplay was arguably the best in the series, but it never reached its full potential. Battlefield 2042, 2021. 2042 was supposed to be the triumphant return to modern warfare with 128 players. Instead, it became one of gaming's biggest disappointments. The campaign was completely absent. DICE replaced traditional classes with specialists. Fans hated this. The maps were too big and empty. Bugs were everywhere. DICE spent the next year fixing it, eventually adding a class-based system. Portal mode, which let players remix content from old games, was genuinely cool. By late 2023, the game was decent, but the damage was done. Battlefield 6, 2025. Which brings us to right now. Battlefield 6 dropped on October 10, 2025, and it's a proper return to form. Set in 2027 to 2028, the campaign follows the elite Marine Raiders unit Dagger 1-3 during a conflict between a fractured NATO and Pax Armada, a massive private military corporation. The single player is developed by Motive Studios and Criterion Games. Early reports suggest it's the best Battlefield campaign since Bad Company 2. The multiplayer is where BF6 absolutely shines. Classic classes are back: Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon. The game returns to 64 players, focusing on tighter battles. Fan-favorite modes like Conquest, Breakthrough, and Rush return, joined by Escalation mode. The destruction system has been completely overhauled. You can sledgehammer through walls, mount weapons on surfaces, drag and revive teammates, and peek from cover. Portal mode returns with powerful creation tools. RedSec, a free-to-play battle royale mode, launched on October 28th as part of Season 1. The game sold over 7 million copies in just 3 days, making it the biggest Battlefield launch ever. The beta attracted over 500,000 concurrent players on Steam alone. Reviews have been positive, with praise for the grounded modern warfare aesthetic and classic Battlefield feel. Season 1 is rolling out with new maps like Blackwell Fields and Eastwood. The community is back, servers are stable, and Battlefield feels like Battlefield again. 23 years of Battlefield has given us some of gaming's most memorable moments. The franchise has had stumbles, but when it gets it right, there's nothing else like it. With Battlefield 6 currently dominating and showing no signs of slowing down through 2026, the franchise is in its best position in years. If you enjoyed this journey through Battlefield history, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive. Drop a comment below with your favorite Battlefield moment, or which game you think was the absolute best. And if you're jumping into BF6, we'll see you on the battlefield.